what you interfere with now is bigger than you can imagine.
Slayer threat level at maximum.
Doom Eternal is one of my most anticipated games of 2019, and thanks to a steamy E3 news spooge from the Bethesda conference, I've been able to get my hands on some brand new Doom Eternal gameplay. In the following video, I'll be pointing out 9 new things you need to know about Doom Eternal based on this gameplay. But be warned, there may be some slight story spoilers ahead. Oh, and there will definitely be a load of gore, like just so much gore. See? I told you so. If you've been paying attention to Doom Eternal on the run-up to its release, you'll probably already know about the BFG 10,000, as it was first shown in gameplay footage from Quakecon 2018. This huge orbital defense cannon is located on the Phobos moonbase, and to say it packs a punch is quite honestly a bit of an understatement.
Warning, the Slayer has entered the facility.
What you probably won't know though, even if you have been paying attention, is that there's a much more powerful gun in the game. Sort of. You see, while the BFG 10,000 is capable of punching holes in planets, this gun here fires something that's capable of punching holes right through heaven and hell. The Doomslayer himself. That's right, during an early mission set across the ruins of broken planetary structures, the Doomslayer overrides the controls of a lone UAC cannon, kicks out the ammo, climbs into the chamber, and then fires himself through the empty void so that he can go mess up some more hellspawn on another chunk of space debris.
3, 2, 1.
Tough guy, eh? This next new point isn't that obvious unless you're watching 2018's Quakecon footage side by side with this new gameplay, and it's the fact that Doom Eternal's UI has been completely redesigned. In the original Quakecon gameplay, the UI is almost identical to that of Doom 2016. The new gameplay, on the other hand, has a much more colourful and detailed UI, with quite a few new additions, some of which I'll cover in separate points later on. On the bottom left of the screen, your armour and health bars are much brighter now, and when you collect health or armour pickups, it's now much easier to read how much you've snaffled. To the right of those, the grenade, weapon type and ammo counters are still present, although again they've been redesigned. And above those you'll also notice a new chainsaw fuel indicator. The weapon wheel has also been refreshed in a similar way. It's now much brighter, and guns of each ammo type have been given different colour schemes in order to make them easier to pick out at a glance mid-firefight. Above the health and armour bars, you'll now spot a brand new redesigned dash counter. In Doom Eternal, you can do 2 short dashes in any direction, enabling you to do things like quickly avoid being impaled by a giant spiky death penis, or to charge headfirst towards a stunned enemy so you can unleash a surprise glory kill on their stupid undead faces. What's interesting is that while this meter seems to charge up pretty quickly, it only does so when you're not in the air. This is presumably done to stop players chaining multiple mid-air dashes together in order to fly around each level, although mid-air dashes do seem integral to maintaining a decent flow to the combat. Next to the dash meter is a brand new meter marked with a fist icon. This is the blood punch meter. Every glory kill you perform fills this meter by 50%, and once filled it allows you to pull off a supercharged melee attack that sends out a burst of energy which obliterates any enemies in close proximity. The Quakecon gameplay shows the Doomslayer acquiring this power-up from a floating rune, but this meter is present throughout the entirety of the new gameplay, so I presume this is a power that the Doomslayer gains near the very start of the game. Cast your eyes back to the right-hand side of the screen now, and you'll spot a meter with a flame motif on it. This indicates how much fuel the Doomslayer has in his flame belcher. This is a brand new shoulder-mounted flamethrower that sets fire to your enemies and turns them into fountains of lovely yummy armour when you kill them. Of course, you can still earn ammo from any chainsaw kills you pull off and health from any glory kills you unleash, but any extra ways to punish the Hellspawn in return for lovely life-saving goodies is always going to be a nice way to tilt the odds in your favour. This next icon is an interesting one, as it only appears once you fist this rune. It's some kind of perk called the Equipment Fiend, and it decreases the recharge time for the Doomslayer's other new shoulder-mounted weapon, the Equipment Launcher, which is basically a fancy name for a grenade launcher. Once you unlock the Equipment Fiend, any damage dealt with weapons or equipment will reduce the time it takes for the grenade launcher to cool down. So, do more damage, and in return, it means you can do even more damage. Ha! God, I love Doom. This next new icon on the UI is something that I'm not 100% sure about yet. It's labelled Demonic Corruption, and it sits in the top right-hand corner of the screen at all times. As the new gameplay progresses, the meter slowly fills with green bars, presumably showing that the further into the game you are, the closer you are to hell. The only time this demonic corruption meter does anything different to just slowly increasing is right at the end of the footage, when this humongous cyber demon appears. Just before this cutscene kicks in, the green bars on the meter skip the middle section altogether and light up the 2 bars at the very end, presumably signifying the approach of a brilliantly brutal big boss battle. The final new icon, located in the top left-hand corner of the screen, is your lives counter. Every time you collect a 1-up, this number increases, as you'd expect, but these extra lives work differently to normal games, and they weren't present in Doom 2016. Instead of giving you a finite chance of respawning at a checkpoint if you die like in normal games, here the extra life will activate on death, making you invulnerable for a short time, allowing you to then get to safety and resume fighting. This means, unless you have no extra lives at all, you won't have to respawn at a checkpoint and have to play through a bunch of the game again if and when you do or died. In the Quakecon gameplay, we got to see a load of brand new methods for the Doomslayer to move around the levels in cool ways. Namely, the meat hook attachment for the shotgun that acts like a gory grappling hook, the mid-air dash, the Doomslayer's new ability to be able to swing from jutting poles, and his incredibly strong rock-penetrating fingers, which allow him to mantle walls. In this segment of gameplay, we get to see just how the wall mantling in particular has been used to create some breaks in the action, in the form of some tricky platforming sections. By chaining dashes and mantles together, the Doomslayer here is able to make his way across the floating space debris without falling into the abyss below. This old clambering malarkey seems to be quite a useful skill to have, but the extreme rock climbing does strike me as being a bit on the dull side when compared to all the awesome action-packed arena battles that these games are known for. Hopefully these platforming sections aren't a common occurrence in the game because, to be honest with you, they really look like they kill the pace quite a lot, and I can imagine any missteps at this point here could get really aggravating, especially if what lies below is nothing more than a cheap insta-death and a checkpoint reload. I'm sure there's plenty more new things in this gameplay footage that I've failed to spot in the short time I've had access to it, so do let me know in the comments below if you see something cool that I've missed. I mean, there's a bunch of new enemies in there that I don't even know the names of, like this little spidery douche here who has the ability to put up a big energy shield and block your bullets. Didn't stop him from getting vaporized by a rocket though, did it? Lol. But anyway, it looks like Doom Eternal will mainly be more of the same hardcore FPS action that we loved in Doom 2016, just with a few extra additions to the enemy hordes and some minor gameplay tweaks here and there. That's not necessarily a bad thing, considering Doom 2016 was amazing and I fricking loved it, but here's hoping that the multiplayer invasion element, which sadly hasn't been shown off anymore in this gameplay, can make the game feel even more intense and exciting than it already looks. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do give it a like, do subscribe to Eurogamer for daily videos about video games, and do keep checking back for more Doom Eternal coverage in the near future. Good boom!
I'm charting a flight path to Mars. Calculating thrust vectors. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Approaching planetary entry phase. Prepare for turbulence.